Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's session. My name is Britta Cabanos. I'm the founder of Inside Fashion Design. And today we are having this very special opportunity to hear from some amazing industry leaders in the AI space. And so welcome to Future Proof, your fashion brand bootcamp live preview. This takes place through a app called StreamYard, and there's comments. There's a comment section, so you're welcome to ask questions at any point. We will try to get to all of your questions. And I would love to hear where people are chiming in from today. If you're joining us live, thank you for your time, and just pop a note in the comment. We'd love to hear who you are, where you're coming from, and even what you do in the industry. I'm personally coming to you from New York. I've been here this week for New York Fashion Week, and there has been a ton of things happening around digital and AI. There was the Digital Fashion Week that took place at FIT, and there were other forums and talks, and I attended as many as I could. And I have to say, there is so much happening in the world of AI and fashion, and it's super exciting and something that I feel we need to keep up with to stay relevant in our brands, in our careers. And so I'm very excited to welcome my co-host today and our guests. So we're going to hear from Nova Lorraine, and we have some other two other special guests, Andrew and Evelina, both in the AI space, and you'll learn more about them as Nova chats with them. And so I'm going to dive right in so we can get to all the juicy, good topics and tidbits and knowledge. So let me add Nova. Welcome, Nova. Nice to see you.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Excited, actually.
Yeah, there's so much happening in this space, and I was so excited to connect with you. And you're an award-winning designer and an author, and really doing a lot in the digital space with fashion. So I'm excited to hear, how you're bridging the gap between being a traditional designer and all the AI happening. And so I'm going to pass it to you and let you dive right in, and I'll chime in occasionally. If there's a question, I'll pop it up on the screen or just speak up when I see a question, and we'll just kind of go through it that way, and we'll have more time for Q&A at the end as well. So we will try to get to all of you. And so Nova, you want to take it away, and then I can pop off the screen and add in Andrew? Okay.
Yeah, let's get this party started. Hello, everyone. Hey, Andrew. Thank you, Britta. Really excited to be here. Andrew and I are going to be nerding out, and then we're going to bring Evelina on stage and nerd out some more as well. Definitely chime in. Tell us where you're streaming in from and connecting from. And JC, shout out from Chicago. There was someone else that was just on screen and I missed it. But anyway, Elizabeth, yes, from Brazil. Amazing, Elizabeth. Thank you for joining us. Super exciting. So I'm Nova Lorraine. I am the founder of House of Nova. I'm an award-winning fashion designer and futurist. I have a passion to bring access to these technologies to anyone that's interested in learning and growing within this new digital economy. My background started in clinical psychology, and then I went on to FIT to study fashion design, which led me eventually to the space of emerging tech. So super involved in everything from AI to AR. And my newest project is the House of Nova, where I'm bridging couture with emerging technologies. And I'm using fashion as a tool for gamification and well-being. So I'm here with my friend Andrew. Andrew Seleznov is here. He's the head of AR production for Arcadia Creative Studio at Snap Inc. He also is he's also heading AR innovations for top brands around the world. And he's a creative genius, is what I say. And we're here to nerd out about all things emerging tech and fashion. And so, Andrew, I'm just going to hand you the mic if you want to share anything more about your background before we dive into the Q&A.
Awesome. Thank you so much for an amazing introduction. And I'm I'm just in general excited about everything what is going on in the industry right now across AI, XR, AI, and yeah, I've been around at Snap like 9 years almost, and I was always like busy with immersive technologies, like trying to build like cool things, like funny things. So like everything around this, and so like just coming all these like latest technology that are coming from the different directions, like really excites myself and my team. And we want like to showcase like a little bit of cool things like this year for sure, as we did last year and the previous ones.
Yeah, I think Snap, aka Snapchat, is pretty much a leader in what we're doing with emerging technology and has brought a lot of fun to the space of just communications and social sharing, and love what you're doing. We had a little experiment with fashion, which was really cool, and what's coming as well, which we're going to dive into. And so I'm going to just start with, and I have my notes here. What trends and innovations in AR are you most excited about? And what are some of the most groundbreaking ways that you've seen AR being used?
This is a great question. So it's really hard for me to pick one direction like that I'm excited about, just because like I see like thousands of like maybe not maybe thousands, like hundreds of different directions where we can go, and all of them like has like a big potential. Like we can talk about like fashion, we can talk about automotive, food, beverages, like just work and education. Like everywhere you can find some application for AR right now. And the most exciting part for me is that we already in this field, in this area, like just trying to think about future experiences, and we've been here like for a while. And the biggest blocker for us was like that hardware and software that wasn't like at the place at that moment. Right now we see this coming, and we see like how LLMs, AI, AR, they can work together, they can be beneficial for each other. And that's why like it's just like I'm super excited about combining different things that just like appear on the market right now, because like it always brings something new to the industry, to the projects that we are creating, to our partners and clients. And it's just like cool to see the whole excitement like overall.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just going to just back up a little bit because we're throwing around a lot of acronyms. And so for those of you that are new to emerging technology, we're talking about augmented reality, and oftentimes it's paired with virtual reality, similar but different. and Snapchat, as you know, is a leader in the AR space. And Andrew works on a lot of creative projects with bringing stories and ideas to life, utilizing a variety of emerging technologies. And one of the things that I saw that was really exciting when I was looking into AR and fashion are the campaigns that have gone viral on social media with billions of impressions and millions of click-throughs. And I know that some beauty brands especially have found a really great use case as it relates to marketing and storytelling using augmented reality. Is there an example that sticks out to you that you want to talk about, Andrew?
This is, this is probably like my favorite project that I've been working on. Like, and this project is we built it was in partnership with NYX company, which is part of L'Oreal company, and we come up with this idea. Okay, what can we build together? Okay, we've got like in one hand we've got like a bunch of cool technologies that we still need to figure out how to use like in the most effective way. On the other hand, we've got like a tons of context, like and tons of expertise, like in makeup, in professional makeups. And so at one point we decided, okay, let's try to find a way how we can combine this to come up with something new, and which we did. And it's probably, again, this is my favorite project because I see a clear use case for the technologies that we developed, and we can clearly see how this pays off like in the long term. So right now we are trying to, of course, like to make this whole experience like as as usable as possible for customers, and try to adopt these new technologies and bring more people to try this technology. So the whole project, what the whole project is about, like just a little bit of context. So it's basically AR assistant, beauty assistant, where you can enter the experience, answer a couple of questions, and the experience will suggest a makeup for you for today based on your answers, based on like, do you have like a date today, or it's just like a casual working day, or it's like a big event. So we can try to collect this information from the users, analyze it, and suggest like our makeups for them. So, and of course we have like lots of ideas in mind how we can improve this experience, what other technologies we can bring to this experience. And it's just like never ending story, like it's more and more and more. Every week we see like something new. Oh, this could be like beneficial for this experience or not. So yeah, it's always like a really cool game. And probably the biggest challenge that I see in my specific role is that like to pick the right technologies to fit the experience, because like there are too many technologies that can possibly play really well together, but you need to pick one, and you need like to have this risks on like really low level.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you bring up a good point as it relates to this use case around personalization and how brands can leverage the emerging technologies to create a more personalized experience, increasing loyalty and making the customer feel more confident. This is something that I do in my work with House of Nova and some of the products that we're working with, but it goes a long way. I mean, I've always had a challenge finding makeup colors that work for me. And to have, using AR, like who would think, years later that technology would be able to allow me to see colors in real time that are true. Because oftentimes we'll spend, I don't know how many of tens, hundreds of dollars on makeup, and you come home and you're like, this isn't great. Like, I don't like this, and I'm not using it. And then it also affects your self-esteem. So I think, when brands are looking at these technologies and looking at what are the real problems that customers are having, and how can we, as you said, like pick the right tool to solve those problems. And I think that's where the sustainability is as it relates to the use cases and the growth and adoption of the technologies. And so thank you for sharing that. And then I think with challenges, part of it is education, part of it is access, right? If you don't know that XYZ tool exists, then how can you know that that's even a solution? And so I feel like starting with conversations like this, joining fireside chats, listening to podcasts, taking courses, like the boot camp we have coming up, allows individuals to get the knowledge they need to find the problem or identify what tool would work with the problem that they currently are having. So absolutely love that. I want to touch on fear a little bit, because I feel that's also a challenge in a way. There's, the job loss reports, they're real, and just like with any new technology, we're going to see a disruption as it relates to, the current roles that we have now. But then we have new roles that have been created. I mean, AI animators, like that wasn't a thing a few years ago, right? All these startups that are looking for prompt engineers, or, there's just so many opportunities that are out there now. And then you have your generalists, like your publicists, your consultants and marketers, and how they could find a role within this new space. What are your ideas, and how do we address the fear and turn that into more of an empowerment mindset so individuals can, have a place in this new digital economy?
Wow, that's a good question, because like from different sides, I'm like getting feedback from different people, and I've got mixed feelings actually. So yeah, a lot of them like, okay, like I don't want AI to make decisions on my life, I don't want AI to be involved in my life on that level. But some of them like say opposite things, like, oh cool, I can share my expertise to the broader group of people. Maybe AI will help like to analyze my knowledge base, like try to build like a product, to help me to build a product from this knowledge base, and then share it, like so like more people will have access to this professional expertise, which is awesome. And people are seeing this as a growing opportunity for them at the first place. And you also like mentioned this cool thing that we see some jobs replaced by AI tools, but we also see this like new jobs coming. And as you mentioned, like prompt engineers, I've seen a role. It was like maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, and the compensation level was equal to like software engineer, like, and I was wow. At that moment, I realized that there is no way to stop to die in poverty right now, just because like there is so many new things like appear on the market right now, and it is always like, I don't know, like 10, 20 years ago, crypto appeared, like right now, AR, VR, all this kind of stuff, AI, LLMs, GPTs, chat GPTs, all of the things, they have potential. And like, so if you have like a right mindset, if you are open to innovations, if you're open to experiments, you can always like put different things together to get something new and to start making money, start building your business, and starting doing like whatever you want.
Yeah, I think, and I just want to pause to just welcome questions. So anyone that has questions, please put it in the chat, because we are going to take questions at the end. So, as you were sharing, I was thinking we didn't even touch on blockchain, right? And an individual today can literally choose an AI image generator of choice, create an idea, choose an AR creator of choice, and create a filter, and in between your 3D modeling and generating this filter. And then each of those ideas can be put on the blockchain, where that creator and artist can now own those ideas and then decide if they want to license them, trade them, sell them, or just simply protect them by putting them on the blockchain. So we're not even, I mean, the areas of opportunity, potential revenue streams are endless. I mean, we've seen some really great use cases in the past, during the hype cycle, but really it's just showing what can be done, like the beginning, the tip of the iceberg, to ignite ideas and to help, individuals, may it be the head of innovation or art directors or creative directors, brand directors, whoever they are, your CMOs, to say, oh, wow, we can do this more efficiently, or we can do this in a more personal way. We can grow community with this. We can, invent new revenue streams with these technologies. And then for your designers and individuals that are on the more technical side of things, they now can use these, technologies and upskill to stay relevant as the space evolves, right? So those are some things. So as we're talking about upskilling, a lot of people may think that it's only on the technical side. And yes, there are some technical things that we should know and tools we should know. But what are some skills, both technical or non-technical, that you feel are necessary for anyone that's jumping into this space now or looking to stay relevant in the near future? What would you say some of those skills are that jump out at you?
So I would say like the most powerful skill in this case would be curiosity, for sure. So like just be curious, like just try to deep dive like into like different things, into different areas. Pick the topic that you are like really interested in. Like, I don't know, like it could be like fashion, it could be your hobbies, it could be your family, it could be your home, anything. So like pick the one topic, then try to explore what are the developments are going on in this area, like related to this specific topic, and then try to play with these tools. Usually, even me having like a little bit of tech background, sometimes it's really hard for me like to dive into GitHub, like just try to understand the code, try to read all this like technical documentations. Sometimes my just brain is like overwhelmed with this information. But usually I can see like tools that are designed with like a really good UX, where you can where usability is like on a really good level, so it's like really clear what you can achieve, what you can try, so you can see like quick results, like and you can like make a fast decision, like is it something that you want to invest more time into this tool or not. So just like playing around with like a bunch of different tools, a bunch of different technologies will help you to figure out and find this like new pathway to like your success. And yeah, curiosity is a key. Be curious, like build network, talk to people. If you have questions, don't hesitate to ask questions. Like don't hesitate to ask people to jump on a call. I've got like tons of messages like asking me, hey, can we jump on a call? Obviously I cannot make all of those calls, but sometimes if I feel that I have like enough resource and time, I can say, okay, yeah, let's try to think about this. Let's try to jam on this idea. Let's try to think what's new, what's the future of this idea, what the future in 5, 10, 20 years, like how we dream big and be curious like that.
Yes, I love that. I love that curiosity. Like that nails it, right? I mean, you don't have to know everything. You don't even have to know like the terminology but having that desire to learn and having the want to grow, right? And then that will lead you to the conferences, the podcasts, the thought leaders, and to dive in. I mean, I remember when I first entered this space, literally when I made the conscious decision to go all into Web3, this was, I guess 5 years ago now. Wow. All in. And I was like, this is a whole nother language. Like I had to reread these white papers, the business plans of these different, tech companies over and over again, and then look up the terminology. And then eventually it started sinking in. And, I was then really empowered to teach and share after that so others can get access, right? But it starts with that curiosity. And then even you and I meeting at a conference, right? So how many individuals listening here, conferences are amazing to hear and absorb new information, to connect and network with thought leaders in the space. Even courses, again, I'm going to mention the boot camp, where you're going to interact with, again, thought leaders and experts that come with their own network and their own perspectives and point of view. So you can find mentors and advisors in what you're doing. We're not saying all of this or any of this is easy, but it's fun once you get into it, when you get over that hump and, that initial like barrier of maybe the language or the semantics. Sometimes it's technical. But I would say, like, give yourself grace, be patient with yourself as well. Like, we all come with our own talents and strengths. But if you let curiosity lead you, and then Andrew said, like, dream big, right? And eventually that gap closes. And that curiosity leads to the big dreams. So I love that. I want to talk about, going back to dreaming big, spectacles, which is another great use case of augmented reality meets artificial intelligence. Can you share a little bit about spectacles to our audience?
Awesome. Yeah, of course. Probably spectacles is the most exciting for me product at Snapchat, like as a platform, as a company. And I really like how we try to push these boundaries because building this type of hardware is always like really risky and really hard, because like you never know, like there are a lot of technologies you need to incorporate, but you also like need to have this balance like of the weight of these devices, like the fidelity of the screens, whatever. So like it's really hard and challenging question to find the right balance in between technology and usability. But for now, like we've got only this dev kit, and I actually have it right in front of me.
Yes. Yay.
I can run like the, I don't know, like speaker notes right now here, you know, like, and it's like, so it is so like, it's so cool, and it's so convenient. It becomes so convenient, like really from this 10 second, you know, like, okay, wow, I'm curious. I like what I'm seeing. I like how it works. I like the potential that it shows to me. So right now we want like to enable community to try to explore the use cases. We don't have like enough resources to explore all those like directions that we can work on with specs, and we need like more resources. We need community support. We need like people who will ask questions, people who will put their hands directly on these devices and start building now. So on my LinkedIn, I try to share like people from like different community members that already building, like, and there are some mind-blowing like project, like real-time translators, like is already a thing, you know, like things that can track the process of your cooking and seeing like steps and seeing like what's the progress of your meal right now based on like only a couple of pictures. So it's just like mind-blowing, because like we are right now we are having access to the context from only one small picture. So you don't need like all those parameters. You don't need all the understanding. You can like just upload take a picture of whatever in front of you, and you can do with this picture a bunch of different things. You can understand what are you looking at. You can understand what you can do with these things, like what you can like put your products on the table and ask, is this can I what can I cook today with these products, and those technologies will just suggest you like a bunch of options for the dinner. So yeah, I'm super also excited about like different big companies who are investing like into ER wearables, because it's a really great sign. It's like a idea validation that this is the future, that we'll be living in it. And and it's great to understand, to realize that we are living in these dreams. We are trying to dream big about this like 10 years in a row, and right now it is becoming a reality. So this is the moment when now we have everything. Let's start play. Let's start building. Let's fail fast. I mean, like, what I try to communicate to my team whenever we have like a prototype idea or something, I said I want us to build 10 prototypes, and I want 8 of them to be failed, because
right.
like we're gonna be focused on those 2 only, and they will be brilliant.
Yeah, I love that. I have so many thoughts and questions, and I want to address a question that just came in, which I think we should.
Yeah.
Is the product market ready?
So basically, right now, this spectacles is available for developers. So you can go to Specs website, sign up as a Specs developer, and I believe $100 a month you'll get access to spectacles. So they will be shipped to you. So it will be your own device. So it's not something like you're renting from Snapchat or something. You'll get your device, and you will be able to start building with it.
Love that. So, you know, when I had seen some of the ways that spectacles can be used, I was so excited as a designer. Like I'm like, ooh, so I love draping on a dress form. And of course, I paint and I do art as well. And I was like, wow, could you imagine using this to drape in 3D in an augmented way and pull things, and oh my gosh, and then to be able to see it in real time. And it's one thing to do it generatively through AI or to 3D model it through a Blender or Clo 3D, but be able to actually like use your hands in real time to shape and create something, I thought was fascinating. And then of course, if you're with a team, a creative team, and everyone has the spectacles on and everyone can contribute in real time. So I think learning and designing, maybe if you're a fashion designer or an architect or something, I think this is a really, really great tool to solve problems right now. So I'm excited about that. And then let's not even talk about the augmented reality clothes. Okay. Like, all right, like now I have wings or my shirt's on fire or, whatever. There's butterflies around me. Like I could create these experiences, with devices like this to expand on storytelling and personalization and whatever it is that we want to do in terms of utilizing the tools for more immersive experiences. So I love that. I have another question that I'm just going to throw in real quick.
One second, I quickly wanted to
Yeah,
add
of course.
that we already, as a company, we try to use AI and to power up our tools as well. So we've got like Lens Studio tool, which is AR platform to build AR experiences for Snapchat. And we already incorporated a bunch of AI stuff there. So there is like Gen AI suite, which will help you to build like 3D models, which will help you to build like, and the lenses itself, like without like any coding skills, without it, like you will be just like using prompts. So you just need to formulate your idea in the right way, build a prompt, and Lens Studio will build the lens for you. So it's pretty remarkable times.
Wow. Wow. We always talk about the future of fashion, but we're here. Like it's here and it's so exciting. And I think the only drawback is for me is like having enough hours in a day to play as much as I want to play with all these tools. And speaking of tools, if you are listening to this show, DM me or Brita Cabanos or message us through Inside Fashion Design. You could find Inside Fashion Design on LinkedIn as well if you want a list of must-have tools. So again, if you're listening, happy to share. DM us if you want a list of tools, either myself, Nova Lorraine, or Brita Cabanos. And of course, you can reach us through InsideFashionDesign.com or Inside Fashion Design on LinkedIn. So I have another question. This is about AI and Web3, and we did touch on blockchain a little bit earlier. So the question is around this. And how do you see decentralized commerce, like blockchain-powered marketplaces or tokenized fashion assets, transforming brand loyalty and consumer engagement?
I can't say that I've got like enough expertise in blockchain technologies, but definitely what I see the trend is coming is that people want like personalized experiences. And if blockchain can help with that, if we can build the centralized like portals systems, which will be like really personal to the customers, it's definitely, it's like just an additional thing to consider, like when you try to build something new. And of course, there is like a bunch of advantages and disadvantages. It's just like, as I mentioned before, you just need to pick right pieces, right models, like to put this system together to build like a really advanced tool for yourself, for your business.
Yeah, I love that. And thank you for the questions, guys. Keep them coming in. And just to add on to what Andrew just said about like blockchain, we're in a new world of ownership. I think that's something that stands out as it relates to blockchain, going well beyond, the use cases in cryptocurrency. We are able to fractionally own things and have proof of ownership through blockchain technology. And so we're going to see, everything from real estate being on blockchain to, of course, we have legal agreements, but agreements that you may not even think about in terms of people getting married with their marriage certificates being on blockchain and these smart contracts being executed at certain times. I mean, there's all sorts of use cases. But as it relates to fashion and AI and Web3, I think a lot of the focus is around ownership as it relates to tokenization, sustainability, and transparency in terms of the materials that are being are used to produce the clothes that we're wearing and how those clothes are being used after production. And so just tracking that whole cycle is one thing. And also as it relates to creating new revenue streams around digital asset ownership. So Some examples would be, let's say you have digital assets in Roblox and you decide to put it on the blockchain and then open up your own marketplace for your designs that you created on Roblox. And you can show proof that you are the artist and creator through the ledger, the blockchain ledger. So there's a lot coming, and we're still early days. And so, yeah, just stay tuned. And so speaking of a lot coming in the early days, Andrew, we're talking about the future being here now, but I want to, as futurists, as innovators, I want to go further. I want to take me 5 years from now, 10 years from now. We've seen the advancements in the last few years, but let's get a little crazy, because we know if it's happening this fast, who knows, we're going to be like living the Jetson life in maybe 5 or 10 years. But what's your vision in terms of where everything's going, or what would you like to see happen as relates to these technologies?
That's really great question, because I consider AR wearables as just like a stepping stone in front of like the bigger dream. So this like Neuralink type of devices, like the chips in your brain that will try to control your body, that will get like access to your eyes. So like we potentially, I hope so, that we'll have like all AR happening right in your brain. So yeah, so I see this future like maybe in 20 years probably, and I can't say that I will be like a person number one who will be willing to implant the chip in your brain, but probably I will be 1 million first person.
After
Yeah,
the millionth use.
yeah. So and it will be like really cool, but should we like just wait, like 20 years while when this become a reality? No, we shouldn't, because like we've got these devices that will help us to learn, that will help us to figure out all the use cases that we will be using like later with those devices. So speaking in like 20 years, yeah, Neuralink type of devices like is a really exciting thing. Before that, for sure, AR wearables. So they will be faster, they will be lighter, they will have like bigger field of view. Like everything. So like they, all the companies that are working right now, they are like competitors to each other, and this is something that drives like innovations, drive like quality, and drive like really good services. So yeah, next 5-10 years I will be busy with AR wearables, but later than 10 years I will switch to chips in the brain.
Wow. Okay, so when we get to that point, I don't even know if I'm going to be the millionth one, Andrew. But I'll say, hey, Andrew, like, how is it? Like, tell me, how is that experience? I don't know. I still have to. I have to think about that one.
You see, we also have like volunteers already on the call.
I know, Andrew, count me in. We already got someone. we we're gonna bring Andrew back on. We're gonna transition to Evelina, and we have a couple more questions for you, Andrew, that you and I will tackle after we chat with Evelina. And there's a couple questions on blockchain and AR. So stick around, Andrew. I'm going to put you in the green room, in the back room, and we'll bring you back on in a few minutes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, talk to you soon. Talk to you in a few minutes. And thank you, everyone, for still tuning in and sending in your questions. Please send in more. Again, check out the links in our posts as it relates to the boot camp. We really are passionate about sharing this knowledge and giving you access to, what to use, what to do, where to start. Are you an independent fashion designer and you're just getting started? Are you working in a corporate environment and you want to know, how to stay relevant, what skills to include in your basket, your toolbox, and or how to really leverage these technologies to continue to give your consumers the best experience possible. So Evelina, so excited to have you here. We have Evelina Kagan.
Hello.
She is a conversion copywriter for fashion entrepreneurs. So we talked a little high level and we're going to go a little nitty gritty with Evelina, because, you know, it's technologies that we're talking about as it relates to AI and AR, and individuals having maybe fear or questions, and how can I use this tech, and is it relevant to me, and or how do I stay relevant? How do I keep my own point of view or perspective while I'm using these technologies? And then before we wrap up, we're going to pull back out to the bird's eye view and answer a few questions on the general side as well, with bringing Andrew back on stage. So Evelina, welcome. Evelina is calling in all the way from Australia, right?
That's right. Yes, the other side of the world.
The other side of the world, and we're in the future with Evelina. It's
That's
what about
right.
4 a.m. or what time is it right there?
Yeah, it's 4:40 a.m. now, so nice and early, but I'm really excited and happy to be here. And oh my gosh, what an interesting conversation with Andrew. My mind is just blown.
Yes, yeah. I mean, we're only even just scratching the surface with this. This topic. There's so much to dive deep on, and I'm excited to speak with you as a specialist, as someone that, you know, in the space, in fashion, but then also utilizing the technology and helping other entrepreneurs and how they can optimize what their goals are, both with individuals like yourself and the tech. You know, there's my book that came out last year, The Jockey and the Horse, talks about the collaboration between humans and technology, right? The co-creation and being able to lead and shape what we want the tech to do. And I think you're an amazing example of that. So let's jump in. All right, I'm going to look at my notes here. AI can generate text, but how can fashion brand owners ensure that their brand voice stays distinct and authentic when using the AI tools?
Such a good question. This often comes up because AI generated content is known for being generic, and that's a lot of the conversation that happens. It's AI generated. So how can you make it sound like you? The great thing with these AI tools, specifically content creation and marketing content tools, is that they're really designed for marketers and entrepreneurs to use and to make it easy and have this mix of that human touch that you just touched on, Nova. So what I recommend to my clients is, firstly, you need to understand your brand as well. If you struggle with that, a good thing to do is feed the AI software's knowledge and content. So you've already got things you're doing and saying, give it that information to the AI to analyze and give you their results. The other thing that is nice to do is, if you had to describe your brand as a person, who would it be? Like a famous person or a character, a cartoon character, or some sort of animation? How would you describe it? Because I know it can be very tricky to be like, this is a brand. It's not like a physical being. What do you mean? It has a personality and a voice. So giving it those characteristics and thinking of it as like a live entity is one way of naming it and giving it a personality. And then there's ways that when it comes to the content creation using AI, that the AI can tailor it to the personality and make it sound less generic. How I'm sure everybody here has seen very generic AI posts and emails and marketing material that sounds the same, uses the same words. So this is one way to avoid it.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point as it relates to how easily we're able to spot the AI content right now, which I think calls out the urgency for individuals such as yourself, right? To have copywriters or copy editors, if that's not in your wheelhouse, you know, to assist you. And okay, you're being more efficient, you're creating more content, but if the content isn't landing, it's not, you know, creating the impact or the conversion that you want, then what's the point? You know, I think it's one, you're probably turning off your customer or your potential customer, and two, you're still wasting time. And so I think that understanding, okay, here's the problem it solves, but then here's a new problem that could potentially be created. And then how do you layer in that human touch, to create that the best product possible, or the output possible. So I would like to transition with that, with some of the challenges based on the technology. Of course, we know a lot of the solutions. What would you say are some of the biggest mistakes that either fashion professionals or brands what are they making as it relates to using AI, for example, as a tool?
So I would say it's going back to this generic content, because at the end of the day, people want to see real connections. Like, you don't really want to think that your favorite brand or your favorite entrepreneur is using AI to, pump out content. You want it to be authentic, in such a digital world where there is so much AI. It's those human connections that make you feel seen and heard and connected to. So the biggest mistake is using this generic content and not tailoring it to you and your brand and who you are. Like, AI is so amazing at speeding up workflows and processes, and even adapting content, like say taking a long form piece of content like a newsletter and adapting it into smaller pieces like an email, posts as well, but that's still staying true to you. But when you just use it without the right guidance and prompts, it just sounds generic, it falls flat, your audience will lose interest, and it won't stand out online. So there's a few hacks and a few certain things once you start playing with AI content generation tools that you notice they all have in common. And for me, as someone who works in this field, I can spot it a mile away. So they're like little hacks that you can implement today if you are using AI to cut out the potential of it looking like AI. So for example, something like that it likes to do is generate a lot of emojis. So if you see 2 or 3 emojis in a row, that's typically AI. AI likes to use title case for headlines and subheadlines. So just by substituting that into a sentence case, already your content looks more human. And people are just such visual creatures that often we say, I don't know what's wrong with it, but it doesn't feel right, especially in a creative field like fashion. And it's little elements like this, if you can change them, already your audience will be more connected to you and give you more trust. There's certain words like unleash, unlock, skyrocket that are very much associated with AI. So if you see that and you're starting to play around with those tools, substitute that for something that's more you, that's your brand. Even what you can do is when you're in meetings yourself or you're having conversations with your team, record that and transcribe it. And you can feed that into the AI and say, this is how I speak. Analyze this, and using my voice, create X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, I love that. I love the hacks. I love the things to look out for, the formulaic sort of red flags. And, like anything, if you have an assistant that you're hiring, or think about an intern that it's a fast learner, but knows nothing about your brand, nothing about your voice, and you are giving them, the intern, an assignment. And so the intern is going to produce something very generic or off-brand if they don't have any training materials. And so if you're looking at the tool as, an intern coming to the table with no knowledge, then what would you give the intern? And so feed that to the tool to give it at least a foundation as you're sharing, to then craft things that are more personal, or they're going to resonate more closely to your brand voice and your audience. So love that. What would you say are some ideas on how individuals can start integrating these tools into their workflow?
Yeah, good question. I know they can feel really overwhelming for someone who hasn't touched them. And I know that a lot of the time, this is what's holding fashion entrepreneurs and brand owners back. There's already so much on your plate. So I would start by making a list. If we're talking specifically about marketing and content creation, what is holding you back? What do you struggle with the most? What is taking up most of your time? Sometimes you don't even realize it. And what can help is getting like a time calculator tool where you time yourself doing certain tasks and making a list, because you want to use AI to maximize your workflow and make your life easier and more efficient. So what I would do is first identify what it is you need the support with, and then go out and learn just one way of using the AI so you don't feel overwhelmed. So let's take an example. It takes you like hours every week or every month to do social media posts. You don't know what to write, like you're stuck for ideas, or you do it really sporadically. You'll do 2 one day, and then you'll do 1 3 days later, and it just stresses you out. You dread doing it. So you've identified that to be the problem. So then what you can do is, once you've fed your AI intern all the information and all the knowledge, there's really great tools even on YouTube, tutorials, and the platforms themselves. They want you to use the software. So they make it easy. They have great training. Get a really great prompt and literally fill in the blanks with what you're looking for and help it create content for you. So if we're going back to the social media, a great way of doing it is batching your content. You just, get a lot done in one go. So if your challenge starts with the brainstorming and the ideas, the first task to give your AI is to brainstorm the ideas. Then it'll be to create like a content calendar to map out your posts, and then it can be to create those drafts, and from there you tweak them, you make them more you, and then you can alter them and modify it into other marketing material. So this is a really, really great way of A, streamlining your marketing, B, simplifying it, and C, just reducing that mental load for yourself, because that's one of the biggest challenges being a business owner or an entrepreneur. There's never enough time in the day. So use AI to make your life easier.
I love that. And you had answered one of the questions that came in earlier. Then we have another question for you, Evelina, is from our listeners. Is there a good way to capture this information to feed the AI model? For example, in even a 5-person company, the amount of floating thoughts may be spread across multiple manners of collab. Is there a way to process all of this?
Yeah, that's a great question. So these tools, of course, not the most basic plan on a paid plan. What they typically allow you to do is create an avatar. So what that means is you go into this AI software and you create a character. So say I create Nova. I give it all the information, and different people have access to this account. So if you're from a team, everybody in the team can access it, and you can feed it different information, transcripts from calls, recordings, written content, podcasts, whatever it may be, ideas. And that helps build the knowledge base, which is basically giving the AI, like feeding its brain to be like, this is this person, this is their interests, these are their values, so they can best tailor the content. So giving it as much information in the one place, because you want the input from your team, and then the team can literally just use the same account and software to create the content. And as everyone is using it, it just keeps evolving and evolving.
I love that. This is fantastic. Like we saw and heard a lot of the, big picture, where we are, where we're going, and now having this sort of nitty-gritty, more technical knowledge sharing around AI and a use case as it relates to just creating copy and marketing, which is so, so important, for us as entrepreneurs, founders, or professionals. So I would love to bring Andrew back on stage so we can address a few more questions before we say goodbye. But I also want to just remind everyone that if you're interested in getting information on more tools for marketing, branding, storytelling, AI, image generation, or video creation, please reach out to me or Brita. You can DM us on LinkedIn or Inside Fashion Design.com or Inside Fashion Design on LinkedIn. And we're happy to share the list of tools. And for anyone that's interested in the boot camp that we have coming up, we're going to be talking about more of this. We have Web3, we have AI, we have blockchain, we have digital assets, we have information for startups, we have funding, those of you that are looking for funding, how do you fund your ideas? And how do you use this for more revenue generation? So from marketing to design and more, definitely check out the link here so you can get more information about the boot camp. Again, Brita and I are super passionate about bringing more access to these technologies in a very conscious way. And so if you sign up for a boot camp, you will not regret it. So Brita, we have a few more questions that I wasn't able to get to. We have a few more minutes where we can address those.
I think we covered most of it. Did we? What about this one? I'm not sure if we went into this one enough.
Okay. I'm happy to tackle that. So this is regarding blockchain. So the question is, thank you, JC. Tailing on blockchain Web3 backed assets, is there a layer 1 or layer 1 L1, L2 or general platform goal aim to be considered? Yes. So when you're looking at blockchain and digital assets, you want to look at a chain that's going to be fast and have the lowest fees possible. And so if you remember, Ethereum was all the craze around the NFT hype. However, the fees were painful. If any of you were buying assets on chain, there were high fees when you were trading and coming on and off chain. So you're going to look for chains that will allow you to do that more feasibly, especially if you're a brand or a creator that's looking to mint a lot of assets that you're going to then sell, and then you want your owners to resell. And some L2 chains out there, I'm happy to share if you want to DM me, but I'll just throw some out there. You have Base that's on Ethereum. You have Polygon that's on Ethereum. You have chains that are not EVM compatible like Solana and Cardano. You have Sui, which is a new chain as well. I'll be launching an L1 chain soon that will be faster and cheaper than most chains. So stay tuned for that, specifically for creators such as those that are tuning in to this broadcast. So yeah, happy to speak more about that in detail. Feel free to DM me. Thank you, JC, for that question.
Some of these things are like a foreign language to me. And as a designer, it's so great to hear from all of you. And I love playing and experimenting. So I like that you just say it, like it's just kind of finding the different tools and diving in and just seeing what works for you and what you feel like you really want to dive deeper into. So we do have the boot camp coming up February 22nd and 23rd. Nova, could you, and in the meantime, if there's any more questions, please, we have a few minutes left. Go ahead and ask. I think we've covered most so far, but while we finish up, Nova, will you share a little bit more about the boot camp? Because we have 7 more, industry pros, all kind of with different focuses in AI, all which apply to your fashion brand or your career. So I'd love to hear more about what that, some of the topics we're going to cover and
yeah, absolutely. So we created this boot camp really to tailor to those that have a busy schedule. And a lot of us are traveling or in meetings or we're working during the week. And so it's Saturday and Sunday on the 22nd and 23rd. And it takes place for about, I think, half the day. I think from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And you're going to have a deep dive in everything from AI and AI, generative AI, working with tools such as Midjourney, for example, as it relates to marketing and branding. And Margarita Barreto will be teaching that. We have Casey Jensen and Nico Farah teaching all things around XR and AR. We have Christopher Kaiser. He'll be teaching on funding and alternative sources of revenue to support your business. We have Camille Avent teaching our startup. For those of you fashion designers that are in early mode, startup mode, she'll be teaching that. We have our fabulous Yumi that will be teaching going into marketing and advertising in this new digital age and digital economy. We have Dr. Edwednod that will be exploring with you on blockchain and digital assets and the revenue streams that you can generate from there. And did I cover everyone? I think I did. Hopefully I did. But anyway, it's going to be a fun weekend. We're going to kick it off with fireside chats with myself and each of the instructors so you can Get to know them, ask your questions, and network with them before the instructional period, which will be anywhere from 60 to 75 minutes following the fireside chat. And we're going to have our 3 sessions per day. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You're going to, if you take the whole course, you're going to have everything you need to kick off your opportunities in this new digital economy. You're going to be like equipped and ready to go. And of course, you can just get them a la carte, whatever appeals to you and resonates to you. There's that opportunity as well.
Yeah, you can find all the information on insidefashiondesign.com. When you go there, you will see a pop-up, and we have a special deal for people that go there and click through the different options and see what works for you. And like we've mentioned, we're all reachable on LinkedIn, so feel free to ask more questions. If you're watching the replay of this, you can still participate in the conversation by commenting and texting us, direct message us. We're here to provide more information so that we can all succeed together. And it's a super exciting future, I think, for all different aspects of the industry. So whatever resonates best with you in your career and your position, I think there's definitely an AI tool that is going to be beneficial and necessary for you in the future. So we welcome you again. Any other questions? Does anyone have any other questions before we wrap up? It looks like we're good. So I want to thank you, not only the attendees for your time today and joining us, but to our guests and each of them for sharing their knowledge and expertise and for staying up till 4 a.m. to tune in with us. So find us on LinkedIn, send us a message, and thank you everyone for being here today. And check out the bootcamp. All the information is on the website.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Evelina. Thank you, Britta.
See you on the next one.